Hello, I am Dr. Anthony Kelley. Today I want to talk to you about stress, coping skills, and resiliency skills. And this is for Liberty University psychology teaching psychology class 775. Today is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Now, today we're going to talk about stress, coping, and resiliency. And it is important to understand how both of them work. And the thing is that we need to look at what is stress? Why does it matter about stress? Stress has so many demands to us in the body, and there's a bunch of responses, mental and physical, and it's important to understand the psychology of it. So, what is stress and why does it matter to us today? It matters a lot. Now, there is a theory out there, the general adaptation syndrome is how our body reacts to stress. You got the alarm stage, the resistance stage, and exhaustion stage. The alarm, you're always on a heightened state of hyperactivity, hypervigilance. You also have the resistance of those constantly, I don't want to talk about it, I want to go there, and then the exhaustion as well. And the exhaustion stage is I just don't want to deal with it. I'm tired. I'm tired of fighting about it. Types of stress. There's several different types of stress. I mean, you got the acute stress, the more immediate stress, and chronic stress that's ongoing, and then you have eustress and also distress, and whether it be internal or external stimuli to cause those triggers to explode and to happen. Uh, but regardless, we can take care of stress. Most people don't, but you can. And it also falls in the beliefs of counseling too, especially for us as counselors, because our beliefs about counseling are important as much as important as our knowledge and skills. Why? Why do you think that is? It's based on your beliefs, not just a faith belief, but also a theory belief about, personality theory or even theory of techniques of counseling of which interventions you're going to use, what on different modalities. So it is important to understand and also to know the approach between a problem and a solution. Problems are problems. People get stuck in those problems. Solutions offer a way out as well. And so it's a paradigm shift. It's a new way of thinking about counseling as well. And so there's different coping strategies that we need to look at. There's like the problem, and then there's solution, but also there's the emotional focus, but also there's avoiding coping too. There's good coping, there's bad coping. You got bad coping is cooking meth in your trailer. Good coping is maybe playing baseball with your children or uh, going to spend time with them away from office. To do something, and there are different ways. If you're moping and stuck, you're always in that cycle of the problem. And also emotions run with that. If you're fired from your position at work and you're upset, but also your spouse is upset, your children are upset, and it causes that heightened state of emotion to be there and fighting and yelling, and it's can be puts you in a difficult place. That's why many people just avoid, they shut down, they flee. But also you got resiliency. You got the resiliency of that, and that's that Sipper Gumby, being able to be able to bounce back at all times, to recover from stress, and to develop those needed skills and protective factors that maybe have learned through a lifetime of positive and negative things happening to a person. I could tell you, I learned more about life and my suffering and my trials, tribulations, more about myself than I have during those good times. But also, it's a new way of thinking. If you're focused on solutions, just like Kohler here talks about in solution focused pastoral counseling, his book, it's a new way of thinking. It's a new way of approach. Sometimes our way of thinking limits what we can see. We make assumptions that limit our capabilities or the capabilities of others. We always make those assumptions, but you can't. You can't stay in those assumptions, and you cannot let assumptions drive because they may be uneducated assumptions, not based in fact or even scientific theory. But also you have for us, for the students though, you can also have the learning exercise. It's more active. It's a group activity. Taking a scenario, analyzing it, and then applying the concept. So if you break, say for example, male and female apart, they have different groups. They are given a giant whiteboard or the paper, giant paper boards, and they can write their thoughts. They can even go and talk about the scenario right behind the slide, next scenario, about doctor uh, and how you can help bring counseling to the doctor and his wife, Dr. Johnson, who was fired from at work as a hospital physician because he was sexually harassing his coworkers. Also, we got the real world application as well. I mean, to stress. There's military stress. There's stress of the battlefield. There's stress of getting things right, of being able to fire your weapon or throw in the grenade, or if you're on a weapon system, like for example the Crow system, that therefore, or a Himmler system, or a tanker, or any of the systems that cause big heavy equipment and explosions. Uh, there's going to be stress always. There's a level of stress to getting it right, getting it done correctly. People are watching, supervisors, frontline are watching, and sometimes it can be very stressful, and it's stressful in the family. You got many deployments, and you have field prompts, you have things you have to egress alerts that where you get up at 2 in the morning and show up in uniform, middle of the night, just to practice things like that. I mean, there's a lot of that stress there within family, but also it's the long-term separations of the deployments and then coming home if they've experienced violence or trauma or murder, killing, battle. Uh, it can be a a hard thing to go through. And so, you know, we have to look at that, the counseling and also job performance uh, as well, because the military does look at job performance all the time. Here's a great quote by the hero of Gettysburg, and he says, "This war is a test of character. It makes bad men worse and good men better." And he learned that experience a little round top there at Gettysburg, and he was able to defeat General Hood's soldiers and the Alabama regiment coming up the hill, the small hill, and him and his men did a daring charge when they ran out of ammo, and they won the day in their section of Gettysburg. So here it all boils down to this. It boils down to stress is unavoidable. There's always going to be a level of stress, but it's how you can leverage that stress for your growth and to how to cope with it and to become resilient out of it. That's what truly matters. Is leveraging that stress. We're all going to have stress, but how can you leverage it to be better or to help others as well? So coping, the good coping, finding those good skills, those good things that you could do, not just the breathing techniques, the mindfulness, the meditation or yoga or prayer and scripture reading and practicing your faith, but also like your veterans getaway in this last picture to show how resiliency can grow despite the trauma, despite the injuries and the wounds, whether physical or in the heart. That's my presentation. I pray God's blessing be upon you. And if you have any questions, please take my email address and shoot me an email, and I'll respond to you as soon as I can. May the Lord bless.